Hello and welcome to this video overview of Realm Raiders. Realm Raiders is a game for 2 to 4 players where you're battling in an interdimensional battlefield trying to get units through other people's portals while protecting your own. So for example, if you are on this side of the board, this is your portal, these 4 spaces here. Everyone has 3 health. As soon as they lose those 3 health, they're out of the game. The last player standing is the winner. The game is very much like a programming type game where you're basically placing things onto the battlefield and they will do things automatically. They are going to resolve automatically and just kind of march their way across the battlefield. However, things will happen and sometimes they'll turn around, sometimes they'll die, sometimes other things will happen. So for example, I could place this guy here in the action step. This is what this is. This is the 3 rounds of the game, the action, resolution, and draw step. So in the action step, I could place that. Of course, everybody else will also place one in turn order, which is why this first player marker is here. Then during the resolution phase, everybody's going to resolve 3 things. Again, starting in turn order. So the first player is going to resolve their stuff first, and then the second player, and so on. And this is ready and cast spells. Move, trigger clashes. Clashes is basically when your unit is attacking an enemy. So for example, if this unit is attacking this unit, it's going to deal 2 damage to this unit's 2 health, meaning that this unit is going to get killed and be removed from the game. And finally, they're going to move. And this one is pretty special. It's going to move 2 spaces every turn instead of 1, but they also have a specific phase just for them, which is pretty nifty. So, quick explanation of what all the tiles do. These 3 at the bottom are pretty simple. They are different variations of a very standard type soldier. So for example, this swordsman attacks for 2 and has 3 health. This defender attacks for 1 and has 5 health. And this this barbarian attacks for 3 and has 1 health. So you may notice that they have kind of a rock, paper, scissors mechanism between them. The barbarian will kill the soldier will kill the defender will kill the barbarian. Most of the time. Depends who attacks first as well. So then you also have spells, which are these things up down here. They all do something slightly different. This one, for example, turns something 90 degrees, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. This one lets you take an extra action on your next round. These 2 deal damage, 3 damage and 1 damage respectively, but this one triggers slightly faster. It triggers a turn faster to be precise. This one is a teleport. It'll teleport something 2 spaces forward as long as it's adjacent to the spellcaster. This one spins something 180 degrees. It makes them about face, and then they can no longer move. They stop moving altogether. And this one is a dispel. Basically, if something's casting a spell or has a spell cast on it, which sticks on it, you can use it to remove it from the board entirely. So this is what these are for. Ritualists cast spells, and they cast spells on a 3-turn time limit. Sorcerers cast spells on a 2-turn time limit, but they don't hit for 0, and they only have 1 health. And these are spell swords. These attack for 1 and defend for 2, but you place a spell on them, and whenever they hit something or are hit, then the spell triggers on the thing that's hitting them or they're hitting. So it can be quite annoying when something hits this and then jumps immediately over them and then lands on something else, which is what this token would do. By the way, this token, if 2 tokens land on top of each other, they both explode and are destroyed. So they all have slightly different stats. Also, these 2 do not move, whereas this one does. This one actually marches across the battlefield, whereas these 2 stay in home terrain, as it were, and try and cast spells from the back lines. I've already kind of explained, scouts move twice and can sneak through other players' tokens. And this is a diplomat. Diplomats are kind of the chaos bringers to the battlefield. They start turning people left whenever they hit something, and they themselves turn left when are hit. So they start spinning and causing all sorts of chaos to happen, meaning that tokens start going in directions you really don't want them to go. So that's what the diplomat does. At the end of the round, everybody draws either a spell or a unit of their choice. They can choose if they have they'll start with 4 units and 2 spells in hand. If they have 3 units and 2 spells, they can choose to take another spell if they want to. It's up to them what they take. Play continues like this. Oh, this also passes to the next player during the draw phase. Play continues like this until all players are, oh, until 3 of the 4 players are knocked out, or at least 1 player is still standing, and that's it. That player is declared the winner. There is one other thing. When a player is knocked out, they do not get to do any more choices, but they're still in the game because they still resolve anything that happens. If there's less than 4 players, then the other players will resolve what happens on their side of the board for them. There is one other thing which I forgot to mention during the action phase. When you place a token, you're allowed to place it on any one of your spaces or any space that is adjacent to you. So on the left or right of you. So if you're playing a 2-player game, you play directly across from each other, and of course you're both allowed to play on these spaces to try and get things to march across the battlefield and basically either get in the way or destroy things that your opponent's played, etc., etc. So this works in a 4-player game as well. You are allowed to do that in a 4-player game too. So that is Realm Raiders. I hope you enjoyed this little overview, and I'll catch you next time.